안녕하세요, Cloud입니다. Hey guys, Cloud here. Welcome back to another lesson recap. We've made it to the final third of this unit. Just a few more lessons and we'll be starting unit 2. Um, we want to keep bringing more lesson recaps for you guys since they've been helpful and love your feedback as to what we can do to improve for the next unit. So tweet at HowToStudyKorea or leave a comment with your suggestions. With that being said, today we're going to be talking about some sentence connectors, how to say I want to, and lastly, we're going to dive into 은는 versus 이가 again, but this time in more depth. Alright, let's get into it. This lesson is divided into 4 parts. Part 1 is cool. We previously learned how to take nouns and combine them like I like apples and oranges. With cool though, we can do the same thing, but with verbs and adjectives. So I like eating and sleeping. My favorite example sentence from this lesson when I went over it was 오늘 고객이 많고 분위기가 좋아요. Today there are a lot of customers and the atmosphere is good. The reason I really like this sentence is because I was at a cafe with a friend and they said something very similar to this. So when I saw this written down, I liked it. Let's look at another example. 고양이도 귀엽고 예뻐요. The cat is also cute and pretty. Now let's also look at when 고 can mean then. So for example, 밥을 먹고 갈 거예요. I'll eat then go. There's not much of a difference between saying I'm gonna eat then go and saying I'll eat and go. Obviously there is, but if you really wanted to stress the fact that you're gonna eat then do something or do one thing and then the next, you can add 나서 after 고. For example, 만나고 나서 다음 날 바로 친구가 됐어요. We met and then the next day we became friends. Okay, now I want to take a look at one more thing before moving on. Let's revisit this example. 고양이도 귀엽고 예뻐요. Here, 고 attaches to 귀엽다 stem and it's not conjugated at all. Actually, none of the examples we've seen had 고 attached to a conjugated word. Okay, that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen though. Let's take a look at this example. 많이 좋아했고 못 잊어요. I liked him so much and I won't forget about him. Now, conjugating to the past tense can also mean that there was some time between the two actions, like 저는 열심히 공부했고 의사가 되었어요. I studied hard and then I became a doctor. Also, last but not least, it can also indicate that both ideas happen in the past in like a list form, not really in like a particular order. So, for example, 저는 방학 동안 영어 문법을 많이 공부했고 영어 신문도 많이 읽었어요. So during the vacation, I studied a lot of English grammar, and oh, whoops, there we go. And I also read a lot of English newspapers. We mentioned in the beginning of the lesson that we're gonna revisit 은는 versus 이가. Well, here's a little trailer for that. Since 은는 can be used to compare things, we can use it to make sentences like I'm smart and he's dumb, or this guy's tall and that guy's short. So, for example, 이 산은 높고 저 산은 낮아요. This mountain is high and that mountain is low, or like one of them is tall and the other one's short. You can see here the comparative function of 은는. Alright, let's move on. Part 2. also. also has multiple uses, but let's look at the usage that you can confuse with 고, which we just learned. They both mean and, but the difference is 고 simply adds things together, like saying I enjoy rock climbing and cooking. This wouldn't be said using also. also is used for saying things like I rock climbed then cooked. It indicates doing one thing and then the next. Alright, enough talking. Let's just look at some examples. 노래방 가서 부를 거예요. I'm going to go to the karaoke and then sing. 노래방 is it's a very common word. We haven't learned it yet, but I thought it'd be okay to use it. It means karaoke. Also, you'll notice that also is often attached to 가다 and 오다, since even in English we often say things like I'm gonna go eat then sleep, or I'm gonna finish studying then hit the gym. In Korean, also would be used. It's also used with position words like standing, sitting, and laying down. So 저는 누워서 책을 읽었어요. I lied down and read a book. Alright, I want to. I'm sure if you've consumed any Korean content, you've heard this being thrown around all the time. Like 보고 싶다, a very common word that Korean learners learn early on, which means I miss someone. Let's look at this example. 한국에 가고 싶어요. I want to go to Korea. Or 저는 친구를 보고 싶어요. I miss my friend, or I want to see my friend. 고 싶다, though, it's not used with adjectives. Adjectives, we'll learn about that in the next lesson. Now, one more thing. We learned how to say I want to do a verb, like I want to go, or I want to eat, or I want to see. Let's look at how to say I want an object. Well, you would use the verb 원하다. So, for example, 저는 더 큰 집을 원해요. I want a bigger house. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, 는 versus 이가 one more time. Let's get right into it. 는 can be used to state general facts. So making generic statements like broccoli is green, bananas are yellow, those kind of generic sentences, you'd use 는. So take this for example. Rocky 산은 높아요. The Rocky Mountains are high. This is a generic statement. It's not situation specific. So you wouldn't use 이가 to say this. If you're talking about a specific situation, like you're hiking and then a mountain comes into view, and then you could say, 와, 산이 높다. Well, this mountain is high. Here you're not comparing, you're not making a generic statement, it's actually specific about the situation that you're in. If you were to compare mountains, then you would use 는. So 이 산은 높아요, 하지만 저 산은 낮아요. This mountain is tall, but that mountain is low or small. Okay, so we've looked at the two uses of 는. Now let's look at 이가. I already mentioned that 이가 is used in specific situations. So let's say you went out of your house after binging all of the How to Study Korean lesson recaps, and the weather is great. You'd go out and you'd say, 날씨가 좋다. The weather is so nice. Here you're talking about that specific situation, not stating that in general weather is good. Alright, that's it for this lesson. I'm sure a lot of you guys still have doubts and confusions about this topic, but don't worry. You can always go back to lesson 2 and revisit the 5 pages worth of explanation on this topic. Then you can come back to lesson 17 and read like 6 pages worth of more details. And if you still can't grasp it, then I just suggest you move on, because once we get to lesson 22, you'll get another 5 pages worth of explanation. And at that point, you'll have better overall understanding of grammar concepts, so it should make understanding this topic a bit easier once you get there. Also, there are more videos that'll help you with this lesson, so be sure to check them out in the description below.